Our next speaker, Fahd Rachidy, founder and CEO of Abaca, speaking on today's topic, how to apply machine learning and deliver hyper-personalized customer experiences at scale. Over to you, Fahd.
Thanks, Melville. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon. Hi, everybody. My name, as mentioned, is Fahd Rachidy. I'm the CEO and founder of Abaca. It's an exciting topic we're dealing with today, which is leveraging machine learning to create personalized customer experiences. I think that's one of the challenge that the industry is facing going forward. The previous presentation was clear on there's one big challenge around the data security. Obviously, there is also a topic on data privacy, which we'll discuss. But more importantly, what we see in the industry is that with our clients in banking and in insurance, is that the challenge becomes when you look at what's happening in the marketplace to digitally engage with your customer and to also provide a personalized experience. And so we're going to discuss today how machine learning can help and how our solution can support that experience. But basically, when you're looking at this problem, the challenges you're facing is threefold mainly, right? One is, well, we need to build a data-driven ecosystem. So how can we, in order to apply machine learning, build a data platform, a BI platform, where we can gather customer intelligence? That's the first pillar that we're facing, and that's constantly a challenge today, which we're helping our clients address. And in the end, that's the foundation, if you want, of being able to deliver those kind of solutions. And the second one would be to actually apply AI and machine learning to actually mine that data and create that hyper-personalized recommendation and experience at scale through the whole base of retail customers. And the third challenge is to look at, once you've done those first two pillars, is to understand how you are going to push that digital experience, you are going to engage with the customer through that micro-segmentation that have been identified by the machine learning model. Now, the reason why this is an interesting challenge is because actually you want to have an end-to-end process from the starting point of analyzing the customer data to actually building that customer intelligence, all the way to being able to push up that recommendation to the end users. Now, in many cases, we see in the industry that, yes, banks are starting to work on the back end, on the building a data platform, which is great, building the pipelines to collect customer data. Then there is slightly progress towards building that solutions that are going to apply machine learning. And then it falls short, actually, most of the time when it comes to, well, that's great, we've identified the customer intelligence, but we can't push it. We can't create that digital experience. And if we have identified across our customer, for example, 100 different micro-segmentation, how are we going to engage differently with those different type of 100 customers? And that's the challenge. And that's what we're going to discuss today, and highlight also how, with the Abaca platform and our solutions, an award-winning platform in the market today in Europe, in the Middle East, in Asia, we can help with those type of solutions. And in the end, we want to highlight also what are the results. Does it work? Why do we want to do that? What's the return on investment? And what actually customers are feeding back in terms of the experience, in terms of the personalization of the product recommendation? Does it work? And what's the engagement there? Now, the third option, obviously, is to, when you want to build those experiences, making sure that it works and making sure that this is something that is already deployed. A lot of people talk about machine learning. Nobody really actually implemented or executed. And so if you look at our solutions, this is an example of the clients we're working with. HSBC is one of a big client, Prudential Asia, large insurance companies in Southeast Asia, and across a number of markets, because you want to gather customer intelligence with different type of customers, with different type of markets. So our solutions are here gathering data and information and intelligence in Europe, in the Middle East, in Asia, that's covering Hong Kong, Singapore, Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia. And that's really the exciting part, right? Now, let's look at the details of how we can implement those solutions, right? And the challenge are to build really a clear vision to offer the hyper personalization experience through that segmentation. Now, to look at these challenges, there is, as mentioned, really a process that is broken down through 3 steps. The first one is to look at the customer data, right? And I'll come back to a minute on how we're going to build that. But basically, here we've identified 3 main sources of data that can be built in the data ecosystem. Of course, providers have their own customer data. Through time, you've probably gathered a number of, for example, purchasing history, transactions, personal data on the customers, et cetera, et cetera. That's a good starting point, but it's quite limited. Let's face it, if you work on your data, that's going to be only your existing data. You will never gather intelligence from the data that, for example, other banks have, and for example, other insurance have. And so that's going to be a narrow set of data. And obviously, here, in order to build an improved accuracy on a recommendation engine and on the personalization of that recommendation, we need to broaden the scope of data that we're analyzing. There are multiple ways to do it. One is through a solution that actually gather directly additional data on the customer, which we do, for example. That's collecting telemetry data, location data, different sort of information you can gather, emotional, behavioral, through, for example, a chatbot technology, identifying what people are interested in by providing them with content and gathering that feedback on the content, but also looking at other platforms, other sources of data, external sources of data that are also a good channel to provide additional intelligence on the customer. So I'm thinking here, and we are implementing here solutions that are, for example, looking at your social profile, social media profile. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, if you're using Twitters, obviously those platforms provide quite a lot of information on customers, and that's actually additional data point that we want to collect. Then there are government sources of data on individuals, typically health data or I don't know, driving license data, etc. And these all are also credit scoring data. These are also information that are very relevant and that can be leveraged to build those personas and identifying what are the interests of that individual and what are the personality traits of those individuals. Last but not least, as I mentioned earlier, we've got the ability as well to look at what the client has with other providers. Okay, what are the bank accounts you have elsewhere? What are the credit cards you have elsewhere? Do you have any life insurance contract elsewhere? You know, really a data dashboard, open finance, where we are able to look at whatever you have with other providers. And that's creating really a 360 view and a very, very refined data profile, data footprint of each of your single customer. And that's really, you know, a strong added value here to build that intelligence on top. So obviously, that's something that we focus on. And those data are actually here. We gather those information through all our ecosystem of clients, different banks, So, you work, let's say you're QNB, for example, and you are looking to apply a machine learning and build that customer intelligence. Yes, you can start on your existing customer data, but there's no way you're going to gather intelligence from, for example, data coming from other banks in the market, because they will never share their data with you. If you look at our solutions here, we basically gather those data and intelligence across all our clients. And so obviously we crowdsource that information across markets, across providers. So you benefit from an AI recommendation engine that has multiple factor, predictive powers and accuracy here in terms of the recommendation engine. So all those data are injected into our models, which basically structure the data, analyze the data, and are able to predict what is, for a given client, what product could be of interest to that client and when. And that's across a broad range of product catalog. And that's also extremely important because, as mentioned earlier, we're competing in a marketplace where you're fighting against aggregators, against ecosystem, against new digital platforms that are actually providing a broad range of financial products on their solution. And it's not just looking at, right, we want to do personalization on credit cards. No, that's not going to be enough. We want to look at holistically what products are interested to that specific individual. Is that a credit card, or it can be a loan, or it can be a mortgage, or it could be an insurance product, a travel insurance product, a life insurance product. It can also be an investment product. So why are we not able to look at across the broad range of product ecosystem what is specifically of immediate interest to that specific clients, given the data we've collected on that individual? That's exactly how we proceed. And that's what provide in the end, that's hyper personalization, right? And so it's not just building segmentation by product, it's also looking across the broad range of products, which immediate product could be of interest to that client. Now, that's basically is because when you look at the personas that you're building, people have different interests throughout their life stages, right? It could be looking at the beginning of your adult life, and you're starting a new job, and you're interested in a range of products. But if you are a family man and you have kids and you want a mortgage and you have to pay for the car and you want to go on holidays and you want to pay for the kids' education, right, you're looking at a very different broad range set of financial products. And again, if you're getting older and you're looking at retirement, you're looking at also other type of products. So importantly, looking at this personalization across the different life stages is key. And that's also why there's a need here to look at the broad range of products catalog holistically, make sure that we are able to actually personalize that experience. And the second vertical is to look at those personas, right? So these are examples of different personas, and looking at the personas is a very strong driver of building that personalized experience. And that's really looking at behavioral trait, personality traits. So for example, on our machine learning model, individuals would be rated on over 200 features on the models. And basically we are able to identify what type of persona you are, and therefore provide the relevant experience, depending on your personality trait, which can be, for example, you're highlighting a strong confidence level, you like to be staying in control, or you're actually someone whose main characteristics is fear of missing out. So you're always interested in looking at bringing the future into the present, for example. And so let's say you've identified that all those 5 individuals here are interested in a loan. Well, we are going to present that experience differently if you're a risk taker or if you're a super savvy customer, because the way you talk to those customers, the way you should present the marketing, product presentation and recommendation should be different, because words matter, the personality traits matter. So basically you have declined and replicated the same product recommendation across the different personality traits. And that's the last part, which I mentioned earlier, which is extremely important, which is, yes, it's great to build the data ecosystem and to start running some machine learning model on it. But if you're not able to push that recommendation at scale, personalized across the 100 micro segmentation you've identified on your entire customer base, then it's pointless, because in the end, the customer does not receive that personalized experience. And that's where it's important to work with an end-to-end solution where you're able to actually perform that last bit, which is very critical, which is providing that digital personalized experience. Now, that's available here. That's what we've built, and we are really heavily focusing on that. And again, that's part of the experience and the end-to-end process. So the ability to have the different templates by personas, the ability to very quickly identify the product, the recommendation for a given client, and provide that relevant experience. You know, it could be providing some articles, it could be providing a personalized video, it could be providing an infographics. It should be really a turnkey solution. It would be a solution that basically support your marketing team. They don't have to re-engineer the wheel. They don't have to rebuild specific marketing campaigns for the 100 micro segmentation. It's available. It's there. You can just push it, and the results are just stunning. Let's take an example with one of our clients. This is a bank called OTP Bank. It's a large bank in Central Europe. And let's look at the results of the three-step process mentioned earlier and a solution in production with a base of about 200 customers. And, you know, we are looking here out, obviously, by creating that personalized experience using AI, increasing the engagement of your customer base, but also increasing the product upsell. So those two criteria, measuring by the engagement of the customer, session time on the app, and the active user base. This is amazing. We had high targets, we beat those targets. So you are able here to have a level of engagement which is translated into an average session time on the mobile app up to 7 minutes almost, which is very high for mobile banking, and a weekly active user base of over 27%. So quite a drastic improvement. And if you look at the product engagement, it's even more exciting, right? So the response rate, 25% click-through rate, but more importantly, if you look at the actual product conversion, you know, smashing the expectation here, 42%. Why? Because you have the end-to-end process, because you have collected the data on the customers, because you have identified with the machine learning model which product is in immediate interest to that client, which action, and then because you have provided the relevant template digital experience in line with that personality trait. And if you look at the response from customers, the surveys, you know, brand awareness, engagement, accessibility, information of the solution, you know, this is really massively increasing the net promoter score, the customer satisfaction, the brand awareness, and building a stronger relationship with your customer. Now, not only that, but obviously compared to implementation, execution of the solution, resource required to perform such a solution at scale, you're looking at a very high return on investment, which is also obviously very exciting. Now, on that note, you know, if you have any questions, let me know. You have here details and my email if you want to follow through, and if you have any questions, the team is available as well today on the whole conference. So over to you, Melvin.
Thank you, Fahd, for your time and your presentation. So right now you mentioned an example of Europe. Any cases which you have seen in the Middle East also that could be of interest to people to listen to?
Absolutely, yeah. So, for example, Oman Insurance is one of our clients. We're working with them. That's also the type of solution we are working with in the UAE. We're engaging with a number of banks in in the UAE GCC countries.
All right. Thank you for your time, and it was very knowledgeable. And hope to and attendees, you all can go to the booth at the exhibition zone and ask for more questions throughout the day. Thank you, Fahd.
Thank
And
you,
hope to
Mel.
meet you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your presentation.